Anchor. This is a good one. God never fails. We don't need to worry, do we? God cannot fail. Good cannot fail because good is what truly is. The rest is lie and illusion. This is important. A trap. Do not go against your heart. That divine spark, follow that. Right? People tell you, oh yeah, God gets angry, jealous, hate, war, kill men, women, and children, stone your children, warring, blah, blah, blah. What does that divine spark inside of you say about God? I know if you go in, you're going to see, wait a minute, God is just that pure light, that pure good, unmixed, undefiled, undiluted, pure light. Peace. Everything happening. I wish I could read my own book. Peace. Everything is happening right on time. And that does bring you peace, right? Sometimes, like on those days where we're making an itty bitty bit of progress, it's all right on time. Don't worry. Play, have some fun, enjoy life, keep moving ahead. Everything's going to be okay. God cannot fail. Transformation. Do not be afraid. God, good things are coming. Revolution. To be set free from the tyranny of the outer world, you must first be liberated in your own mind, right? What you want to see on the outside, you got to see it right here first. Whatever you want to see in your world, you must first see it in yourself. Well said, Magus. I said it twice. Journey. Even though you cannot see where you are headed, benevolent forces are guiding you. Have faith. Yes. I told you, it was just a few months ago. I shared a story with you. I was at the grocery store getting ready to back out of my parking space, and Spirit said, don't you dare back up. And it said, park, turn off the car, just sit for a second. And it actually, in the humor, said, you don't want to ruin your fun day you're having. Because I had been to the bookstore, got my favorite food, got ice cream and salty snacks at the grocery store. Couldn't wait to get home. And Spirit said, don't back up. A car, hunk of junk, looking to run into someone, right? Make a lawsuit, went shooting by me, like trying to hit me. And I said, oh, I see this scam. I've heard of this scam. And then I watched him. Wasn't just a few seconds later, he saw another car with reverse lights, went over, smacked right into it. He's like, oh, just trying to get money. And I was thinking, oh, thank you, my good spirits that love me, my family of light. They are guiding me and protecting me. Let me read that again. Even though you cannot see where you are headed, benevolent forces are guiding you. Have faith. Have faith. Spirit's got your back. The Magi that were, are, and shall be are there. Your family of light is there and loving you and guiding. Listen for it, though. You got to listen, right? You got to learn to go in, and they're speaking all the time. Always loving, always guiding. Will you listen to it? A lot of people turn it off because it goes against what they were taught. Or you can't listen to outside voices. That's an inside voice, right? You can only listen to what's written in the Bible or the Quran or the Gita, right? That's their connection to hearing from God. It's not going to work. I'm sorry to tell you that. If you want to hear from God, you got to hear from God. Otherwise, you're just reading stories someone wrote. And I know, can I touch on this for a minute? Because it bothers me. What are we, 18 minutes into this? Who's still here at 18 minutes? Needs to be said, though, is we're talking about, should I do this with humor? Or should I be serious? I'm almost too happy about having my book today to be too serious. You can hear it in my voice. Let's take the Bible. People say God wrote it, but they'll admit it's written by many authors. I think of Moses, Abraham. Let's look at Abraham. He said he heard from God to go sacrifice his son as a burnt offering to Jehovah. It is a Magi, a Zoroastrian. If you heard that, you know it's not this God good. It may be something they call God, but it's not the highest principle of God good, because God good is just good, unmixed, undefiled, undiluted, pure light. Would never tell you to harm, never tell you to kill your children, would never put you or your child through that mental hell, not to mention the physical suffering and pain and hell. And then apparently someone quoted the obvious, hey, you should write a book. I don't think you can say God wrote that. Abraham wrote that. Moses, that when he told his soldiers to go in and kill the men, women, and children, the soldiers said, we can't do it. Moses is mad because all these women and children are in the camp. I told you to kill the women and children. We can't do it. It's wrong. He said, go against your heart and what you think is right and wrong. Do what I tell you. Do what the Bible tells you. Do what God tells you. What God, right? And so they killed the women and children. How did Moses get them to do that? He said, well, I'll tell you what. You have to kill the women and children because the sin is so deep ingrained in them. But good news, I just heard from Jehovah, and the hot virgins, the sin's not too deep in them. You can keep them as sex slaves. Come on, boys. And then someone obviously quoted the obvious. Hey, you need to write a book and say God wrote it. And my friends, as ridiculous as that is, that's what people believe. If you go into your heart, I want to stay calm and happy today. I could start to preach right here. But if you'll go into your heart, that divine spark, that light that comes from God and is made of God, you'll know those guys do not represent God, the highest principle of good. They might represent some war god, thunder god, we'll love you as long as you do what the hell you're told. If they tell you to go in a war, kill, bring back the treasures to the Lord. Don't touch it, though. Don't you touch any of that treasure. That's for the Lord, right? Fear. What's the number one, when you were in Sunday school, was the number one rule, right? The fear of the Lord. That's number one. They want to ingrain that in you, and boy, do they do it. It'll last a long time. Even when you're grown and get away from it, it still takes up residence right here, haunting you, till you finally say, I had enough. And you bring in that highest principle of truth that runs out the lie and illusion. You bring in that highest principle of God good that runs out those monster mixed gods. And then you're freedom, baby. And then that's when you start to get excited about a little orange book and the spirit, Asha, the spirit of truth. Because you're no longer a slave to those stories and those lies. Boy, did we go down a rabbit hole. We were talking about rambling the other day, but I hope you got something out of it. Angels. The moment I believed, angels went to work on my behalf. I like that. Trust. Do not worry. This makes me, was it Jen Cooper that loved this? It says life-changing. Do not worry. Worry is praying for the worst outcome. Now that I say that, Jen Cooper, did you get your book yet? If you did, go to the comments and let me know. It took me a couple weeks to get mine. And anyone else that theirs came. Jen's, I think, is the only one that told me she ordered it, but I saw a lot of them sold. But you guys got to tell me because I don't know, and I want to thank you and love on you. Don't worry. Worry is praying for the worst outcome. We got to touch on that. Worry becomes your prayer, and that is what's coming to you because you believe something bad is going to happen. And isn't prayer about your beliefs? Right? And now you're adding strong emotion with it. When you pray with your whole heart and emotion and belief and perception, it's rushing to you. That's why it's so important we hold that highest truth. Asha, I'm divine life and health. Sickness and disease dies when it touches me. I am a light that darkness cannot enter. I'm a love that hate, fear, greed cannot come in. I am one with that all good spirit, and those monster gods cannot harm me. Not here and not physically. Visualize and see how magic works. Right? Kind of what we're just doing there. We're visualizing it. We're seeing ourselves as that light, as that all good spirit. And magic happens. first circle. I won't go into the whole story, but I've used this technique of first circle where I sat with a guy that had really bad OCD, drew a circle in the sand at the beach around him every day, and God drilled in his mind, there's only light allowed in here, only truth, only love, only peace. And pretty soon it became his reality because it started here, a seed, and then it manifested, and he had no more OCD. And think about this. I didn't go to college. I didn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and go 10 years to get my doctorate and PhD. But I was able, well, Asha was, but I was a part of it, to heal someone from OCD that the doctors had written off. And he was healed. That's the power of truth. And we did that in first circle. It says, there is a circle of light around me, in me, that evil cannot enter. Cycles, endings are beginnings. Think about that. Someone needed to hear that. It's okay. Don't be scared. This ending is just the beginning of something new, something better, something beautiful. Rest, a time for solitude and withdraw, to go inside and recharge. Oh, there's so much to that. We'll hit that another day. There's too much to go in there. Creation, be it and see it. You create what you vibrate, right? What you want to see in the world is going to reflect what you are. You can call yourself any religion, anything you want, but what's in you is what you're going to see in the world. If you're angry, unforgiving, you're going to see that in the world. You're going to see that reflected in your friends, in your family, in your children, in your coworkers, in the world, in your God, in your religion. What you be is what you will see. That's how we create, with what we are, what we vibrate. Hold. I meditate on the highest principle, and a treasure house opens up before me. Right? So in our meditations, again, we hold the frequency of that highest, even though maybe when you're new to this, it's just almost seems too good. That's okay. In your meditation, let yourself go there. Envision a world that's too good. And then start to think, if an all good God made a world, wouldn't it be too good? Think about that. Intuition. I see and know all. I have access to the one mind. There's a lot inside of you guys. A name of power that is in you, that if you'll fast again from that outside world, a true Sabbath, go inside, spend time with this God that is in you, this truth, this power, this freedom, this wisdom, right? Ahura Mazda. You'd be surprised at who you really are. Speaking of that, power. I'm just like my daddy. Oh, that was a beautiful segue. I didn't plan that, but I like that. Free, my birthright. Getting a little hoarse. You guys still with me? I need another drink. This is a long one. We're 26 in. I might even put some music at the end of this for my hardcore magi. Health. You guys know this one. Sickness and disease dies when it touches me. Can you envision that? Can you close your eyes, take a long, deep breath, release and relax, and see a light, that divine spark, that light that is you, and see it in your whole form, that light. See your body as light, a light body. And see that light, even how it glows outside of you. And see how if sickness and disease, you have to have a change of mind for this, but this is our meditation. This is a place where we play with magic. And see if sickness and disease, you hear someone cough or sneeze. Their germs, they die when they touch this light emanating around you. That sickness can't live in your health. That light that is in you, then this light body that is you, it's healing everything. All your systems are functioning properly. It's healing everything it touches. You are the perfect creator's perfect idea. Why don't you go ahead and just let yourself be that for a moment? Just for a moment, hold that frequency. You ever felt light before? That's what it feels like. You might get used to that. Asha is.